When I looked at myself in the mirror, tears streamed down my cheeks again. If I had been invited to star in the movie Beauty and the Beast, I would play the part of the Beast because I'm getting ugly as soon as the hands of the clock struck 10 o'clock at night. I laid down on my bed with my face pressed against the pillow and started crying. Hi, my name is Sandra, and I want to tell you how my beauty fades at night. I'm like Princess Fiona from Shrek, who after sunset turns into a green monster. My skin color stays the same, but I get a lot of pimples on my face, I start to sweat a lot, my eyes turn red, and my hair turns into this ridiculous nest. It's a peculiarity I got from my grandmother on my mother's side. My mother herself is beautiful day and night. I, on the other hand, am a loser whose only path in life is to star in horror films. My mother told me that my grandmother was a witch. She lived in a small town where many people were afraid of her. She could easily put a curse on someone out of spite. But one day, something went wrong and the curse affected herself. Since then, at night, she looked like a real witch with warts and wrinkles and unruly hair. Mom, is it really true? I asked in horror when I first heard the story. It must be true. When I was born, she was already like that. The curse missed me, and it must have passed on to you, dear. Doctors didn't find anything wrong with my skin. My transformation was a real mystery, and I was so affected by the story that I decided that I would never go out after 10 o'clock at night. I was one of the prettiest girls in school, and a year ago I even won 3rd place in the school beauty pageant. I had a lot of admirers, but I still didn't go on dates with them for fear that my ugliness might come out before its time. I didn't want to lose my reputation, so I decided to be a recluse and not go out at night. But as you can imagine, my lifelong plan went awry. It all started the day the most popular and beautiful girl at school decided to throw a party and invite me for the first time. I had been dreaming about it for years. Perhaps Courtney was kinder to me after I helped her out over the summer break. She was standing in the rain waiting for her limo, but her driver didn't show up for some reason. I couldn't leave Courtney behind, so I drove my classmate to her luxurious mansion. We even had a little talk on the way, and in that moment, I felt like a mega cool girl. When I got the invitation to her annual party, I completely forgot about the fact that I turned into a monster at night. And when I did, it was too late to decline the invitation. If you turned Courtney down for anything, she would make your high school life a living hell. One time, a girl refused to do Courtney's report for her. As a result, she first had to leave our school and then she and her family had to leave town. Alright, I'll leave before 10, I thought naively. But at 10 in the evening, the party was in full swing. I was the center of attention because Courtney was telling everyone how I helped her out. All the guys were passing by and only Sandra cared. Courtney winked at me, and I just smiled coyly. And once again, I looked at my wristwatch. It was 10 to 10, and if I didn't run away, I would be forever disgraced. When I tried to sneak out, Courtney caught me. Where are you going? I have to go home to feed my dog. Is your dog more important than me and my big party? Courtney, I'm sorry, but are you trying to upset me? For a second, I thought she had devil horns and there was an evil glow in her eyes. And while I was dumbstruck, not knowing what to say, Courtney took my hand and led me back to the guys. And my transformation began. There were more pimples on my face from the excitement. My eyes weren't just red, they were bright red. There was also something new, disgusting breath, and wrinkles on my forehead. Sandra, what's wrong with you? Some of the kids asked in horror. Everyone was staring at me. I wanted to jump into the pool and never come out again. Ugh, freaks have no place at my party. Courtney exclaimed squeamishly and asked the guards to escort me out. 2 big guys grabbed me under the arms and literally threw me out the mansion gates. Do you think that was the worst thing that ever happened to me? I thought so too, until I woke up the next morning and looked in the mirror. Oh no! My ugliness didn't go anywhere! It stayed with me! I definitely can't show up to school looking like that, especially after yesterday. I managed to skip a few days of school and I hung out in the farthest part of the park all by myself because even the pigeons tried to stay away from me. All of this brought me to tears. But it didn't last long before my mom got a call from my homeroom teacher one night and was informed that I wasn't going to school. Mom, look at me and answer the question yourself why I don't want to be there. Dear, your looks are no reason to skip school. That's easy for you to say. You were the prettiest girl in class. I muttered and folded my arms across my chest. Sandra, you're going to school tomorrow, period. Of course, no one was being supportive or understanding. Thanks to Courtney's exaggerated stories, everyone avoided me and the most arrogant and stupid ones mocked me. In an instant, I went from being a beautiful girl to a pathetic freak. Even the homeroom teacher didn't want to let me in at first because he simply didn't recognize me. My mom had to call him and explain everything, but he didn't even apologize to me. That's how appearance affects people's perception. However, soon my life changed again. Well, not my life, but Courtney's life. Our star was suddenly poor. It was immediately brought up at school and Courtney's popularity waned. She had to wear second-hand clothes, eat homemade sandwiches, and hide in the backyard during recess because the kids she used to make fun of now were messing with her big time. The most popular girl, the one everyone wanted to be like and be friends with, suddenly became a petty outcast. I couldn't even gloat about it because I felt sorry for Courtney. Even though she was the one who'd made sure everyone at school avoided me or pranked me, I still couldn't turn my back on her. Courtney, I'm so sorry, I said as I sat next to her. Ugh, get away from me. She wrinkled her nose in disgust. I want to help you. I'd rather be an outcast than hang out with you. Have you seen yourself in the mirror? But after Courtney's brand name bag was dunked in the toilet, she decided to change her opinion of me. At that moment, I felt like a real star because the former high school queen had practically begged me on her knees to be friends with her. I decided to give her a chance. Courtney and I started hanging out every day. Although we weren't often allowed in public places because of my looks, I was expecting to hear words of comfort from Courtney. But she didn't say anything and pretended like nothing was going on. Meanwhile, she kept asking me to buy her things, cosmetics, clothes, or a fancy magazine. I couldn't refuse her, believing that Courtney would soon change and become a normal girl. I felt like she just didn't know how to be a friend, so I showed her some compassion. I supported her when she cried out about her past. I tried my best to cheer her up. I thought she would understand what a real friendship is. But I was wrong again. Oh, what a naive fool I was after all. One day, Courtney and I arranged to feed the squirrels in the park. I waited for her for an hour, 2 hours. I managed to scare a little kid with my appearance and had to listen to his mother telling me that it was time to start looking after myself. But Courtney never showed up, and she didn't even answer her phone. In the morning, I found out that her family managed to get their fortune back. And to celebrate, Courtney threw a huge party, which of course, she didn't invite me to. Courtney, what the hell? Why did you do this to me? I snapped at her at school. What do you expect me to do with freaks? I thought we were friends. Me and you? Don't be ridiculous. I used you, but I don't need you anymore. Like an iPhone 12. She laughed nastily and left with her friends who just a few days ago were saying mean things about her. I was so angry that I wanted to get back at Courtney, and I decided to get my looks in order. I went to several fortune tellers, I bought expensive makeup with my last bit of money, but nothing worked. My mother, seeing my efforts, was seriously concerned about my condition and decided to make an appointment with a psychologist. And he was the one who helped me. Sandra, your appearance is purely psychosomatic. Stop thinking about the fact that at 10 o'clock at night you will surely, because of a curse, turn into another person. That's it? I don't think that's going to help me. Yes, Sandra, the problem is only in your head. Your mind is very powerful. And indeed, ever since I was a child, I've been convinced of the curse. I was tormented by doubts for many days, struggling to overcome the insecurities within me, and this battle with my own mind was the hardest of my life. But it worked. With the help of a therapist, I started to believe in myself, and I stopped believing my mother's fairy tales about Grandma the Witch and the curse. It helped me become the old Sandra. No, even prettier. Without all the pimples, no excessive sweating, unruly hair, and all the rest. I was looking at my new self in the mirror. I thought for sure I could outshine Courtney. And I was right. A lot of boys were looking at me instead of her. No amount of money could help her get their attention back, and I enjoyed my popularity. All that was left was to humiliate her properly, to destroy her once and for all. But just as I was coming up with a revenge plan on how to destroy Courtney's reputation, I suddenly changed my mind. You know, it was like Thor had hit me over the head with his hammer. I looked at the situation from a different perspective, and I realized that I didn't want to stoop as low as Courtney. If I did, I wouldn't be any better than her. I backed off, thinking that life would punish her anyway. And I was right, because karma boomeranged right into the back of her head. When Courtney's parents went away on a business trip, she pissed off all the help in the house so much they started a riot. Courtney posted messages in her class chat room asking for help to calm down the rampaging staff, but her friends only wanted to party. Eventually, Courtney got really mad. She told us all to beat it and that we'd come crawling back to her. She asked for my help too, but I didn't want to be that iPhone 12 again, which she would easily throw in the trash, and even in that situation, life had taught her nothing. Courtney continued to humiliate everyone at school and ignore me. I could only feel sorry for her because she was poor on the inside and incredibly ugly. I realized that external flaws can be corrected, but internal ugliness is almost impossible to fix. And believe me, no pimples or wrinkles can compare to the defects of the soul. Do you think Courtney will be able to mend her ways and find friends in the future? Share your opinions in the comments. Rate your likes and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any new videos.